Now, let's continue with our discussion. Let's find out the different types of tissues that helps the plants to obtain the important nutrients and for plant support. It is the permanent tissue that is responsible for the transport, preparation of food, and for plant support. Permanent tissues are formed by the differentiation of meristematic cells, which become specialized to perform specific functions, like protection, support, storage, and transport of food and water. The cells that makes up a plant form three main tissue systems. We have the dermal tissues, the ground tissues, and the vascular tissues. These cells carry out all of the plant's functions. Dermal tissues cover the plants. In herbaceous plant, dermal tissue consists of the epidermis, which is a single layer of closely packed cells. In woody plants, tough bark or periderm replaces the epidermis in stems and roots. This outgrowth hair-like structure of the epidermal cell, called as trichomes, protects the plant against predators and pests. The stoma is an opening or pore through which leaves and stems exchange gases in the atmosphere. A pair of these specialized guard cells surround each stoma and controls its opening and closing. Root hair's main function is for the uptake of water and nutrients. Epidermal cells secretes cuticle. This is a waxy layer that coats the epidermis of the leaves and the stem. It conserves water and protects the plant from predator and fungi. Periderm is a group of tissues which replaces the epidermis in the plant body. Its main function is to protect the underlying tissues. Ground tissue makes up the majority of herbaceous plant. It consists of three main cell types. We have the parenchyma, which are usually described as typical plant cells because they are not very specialized. We have the collenchyma, which bears a strong resemblance to parenchyma cells, and sclerenchyma. They have thick secondary walls, usually strengthened by lignin, and are much more rigid. So these are the three main cell types. We have the parenchyma, collenchyma, and the sclerenchyma. Parenchyma cells are the most abundant. These cells are alive at maturity. They have thin primary cell walls and retain the ability to divide. Parenchyma tissues are oval-shaped cells with thin primary cell walls and have extensive spaces between cells. It aids in photosynthesis, storage, and helps aquatic plants to float. These are made up of living cells found in roots, stems, leaves, and flowers. Collenchyma cells are elongated and unevenly thickened primary cell walls that can stretch as the cells grow. Provides elasticity, mechanical support, and tensile strength to the plant's body. It is found in the cortex of stems and leaves. Sclerenchyma cells are dead at maturity. They have thick, rigid secondary walls that occupy most of the cell's volume. They are dead cells having extremely thick cell walls containing lignin, which adds great strength to the cell walls. It protects the plants. It is present in stems, leaves, and hard covering of seeds and nuts. Vascular tissues transport water, minerals, carbohydrates, and other dissolved compounds throughout the plant. There are two types of vascular tissue. We have the phloem and the xylem. Phloem transports dissolved nutrients in all directions within the plant. For mnemonics, remember PMF. PMF stands for phloem, multidirectional, and F for food. While xylem conducts water and minerals from roots upward and throughout the plants. For mnemonic, we have XUW. Xylem, U is unidirectional, and W stands for water. Xylem has two kinds of water-conducting cells. These are the tracheids, which are long, narrow cells that overlap at tapered ends. We also have the vessel elements, which are short, barrel-shaped, conducting cells that stack end to end, forming long continuous tubes. The xylem parenchyma and the xylem fiber is also part of the xylem, which transports water and minerals from roots to other parts of the plant. The main conducting cells of phloem are the sieve tube elements, which aligns end to end to make a single functional unit called as sieve tube. Sieve tube elements are alive, but they lack a nucleus and have little cytoplasm. Adjacent to each sieve tube element is at least one companion cell. It is a specialized parenchyma cell that retains all of its organelles. Another part of the phloem is the phloem fiber and the phloem parenchyma. This phloem transports prepared food from leaves to other parts of the plant. So we have to remember that there are three different cell types of the permanent tissue. We have the vascular tissue, these are the xylem and the phloem. We have the ground tissue and the dermal tissue. Thank you.